Hello, I'm Jamie Lurch from InTheLurch.com, and I am here today to talk to you about the fragrances that are showing up in my soap collection. For more information about my fragrances, please go and see the previous video to this that explains to you all about fragrances. So let's go ahead and dive in. First fragrance oil we will be discussing today is Fragrance Oil 810, and I have shot this a couple of times, so if I'm rushing through, I do apologize for that. Fragrance 810. This is from Wholesale Supplies Plus, and Wholesale Supplies Plus, of course, always gives you a number to their fragrances. You can look this up on the website under Fragrance 810. It is known as Sandalwood and Patchouli. There we go. Now, sandalwood and patchouli in the bottle. This is a hefty, very strong fragrance in the bottle. In the bottle, it does have a light, flowery undertone, but what it mostly smells like, of course, is a very masculine sort of vanilla scent. Vanilla with a punch. Okay. In the soap, what this smells like is just vanilla with a punch. It loses the flowery undertone. It doesn't smell like flowers at all, and you get just kind of like this very masculine sort of vanilla scent. So for those of you men out there who really like a sweet sort of masculine scent, Sandalwood and Patchouli from Crafter's Choice or Wholesale Supplies Plus is the way to go. Alright, next soap is my November soap. And my November soap is a rather silly soap. So basically, this fragrance oil is called Sparkling Snowflake. And for those of you out there who are like, that doesn't sound like a Thanksgiving scent, I don't pick these names. These names are created by the supplier, and I make sure that I provide them so that you can go to the supplier and get all the information you need about these fragrance oils. So, Sparkling Snowflake. In the bottle, sparkling Snowflake smells like a very clean scent with a sort of undertone of a vanilla with a little bit of bite. So vanilla with a little bit of a bite, and then sort of a non-designated clean smell is what's going on with the fragrance in the bottle. Now, if you are looking for the cinnamon, you'll find it, because that sort of vanilla undertone with the bite is actually cinnamon. And when I purchased this last year for some Christmas soaps that I made, and when I put it in the soap, I made a note when it came out the other side that it smelled like cinnamon. So I put it in my November soap. I put it in this soap because it smells like cinnamon. Now, this does not smell like a cinnamon stick. So if you've ever smelled a cinnamon stick, you know that that cinnamon stick is like overpowering. It almost makes you want to clench your teeth as you smell it. This does not smell like a cinnamon stick. This smells like cinnamon with vanilla, with all the bite removed. Cinnamon with all the bite removed. But it does remind me of pies baking in the oven. Exchanging of holiday Thanksgiving sweets where everybody seems to be making pies or whatever that have cinnamon in it. So that's what that smells like to me. And that's why it ended up in the November soap, because it smells like cinnamon to me. The next soap on the agenda is going to be Oh Christmas Tree. And a little bit more information about my in December. Okay, so I made my December soap like 3 or 4 times. Seriously, 3 or 4 times. And I had Oh Christmas Tree as my fragrance oil, and I ended up having to eliminate it. Not because I didn't like it, but because I ran out. And I didn't have enough time to purchase more. Of course, for those of you out there who are soap makers, I was working to a deadline in order to hit my release date, and I didn't have time to purchase more. So I combined two separate fragrances for this soap, which will end up, which is the one that you will get in the box. Okay. This is a combination of Fragrance 407 from Wholesale Supplies Plus and Fragrance 394. Now, Fragrance 407 is known as Fireside. Fragrance 394 is known as Applewood Fir Needle. And when I shot this the first time, I was utterly surprised because I smelled this and I'm like, definitely getting undertones of applewood. A little bit of a smoky apple to it, and a little bit of pine, or a little bit of tree scent and smoky fir needle is what this smells like. So that's what this one smells like. I like the scent. I like the smell of apples. I like the smell of smoke. So back to Fragrance 514. So if you get one of the other bars, if you watched my previous video, you know that those extra bars where I made something and I didn't like the way it turned out might potentially be included in your box as just an extra bar of soap for you to try out. They will have Oh Christmas Tree, and the soap sample box will have Oh Christmas Tree in it. Now, Oh Christmas Tree smells like trees. It doesn't quite smell like pine trees. It doesn't quite smell like juniper trees. This is more like a synthetic mixture of a bunch of different Christmassy trees with a slight vanilla undertone. In the soap, it smells a bit more vanilla. I mean, you get more of a sweetness and less of the tree smell in the soap. But there's still some tree there. There's still some apple there. So that's what you get in the Oh Christmas Tree. Now, January's. So January's scent is brown sugar. And let me just say that brown sugar is one of the fragrance oils that I really, really, really love. Okay, first of all, in the bottle, this fragrance oil is from Wholesale Supplies Plus, and it is fragrance oil 636. Okay, and it is brown sugar. Now, brown sugar smells like brown sugar. Like real, actual brown sugar. If you have ever made cookies with brown sugar and you add that butter in to the brown sugar and the regular sugar and the flour, and that brown sugar develops that sort of buttery brown sugar fragrance, that's what this smells like. It smells like brown sugar. Now, one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite fragrances is because when you put it in soap, it just smells like vanilla. You kind of lose that bit of that indefinable bit of the brown sugar fragrance oil that allows you to define this as brown sugar. When you smell it and you go, oh, that's brown sugar. It loses that in the soap, but it still smells like a very nice, light vanilla fragrance. This is a vanilla fragrance that has a little bit of like tang to it. Okay, so it's not a soft, but it is very much vanilla. And this fragrance of vanilla, unlike several other fragrances of vanilla, which is something that drives me nuts, does not make my skin smell weird after I put it on. That's why I love this particular one so much. Some vanilla fragrance oils and some flower oils have a tendency to make my skin stink or make me feel like my skin stinks. This one does not do that. And so that's why I like it so much. So for those of you out there who have skin similar to mine, that's a good vanilla fragrance, especially if you really like vanilla fragrances. Alright, now on to, I totally skipped over February. I will go back and do February. On to March. March's is Vanilla and English Rose. These two fragrances come from Brambleberry, which you can see on the back says Brambleberry. Now, this does not smell like roses. This does not even smell like flowers. This smells like vanilla that's been subdued by something else. Something else that isn't quite tangible. You're not quite sure what that something else is, but you know that there's something else in there besides vanilla. But it does not smell like roses at all. And this was a substitution for, I ran out of the fragrance oil that I was using, so I used this one instead. And that is March's. Alright, now back to February's. Okay, I'm glad I saved February for last. So, the fragrance oil that will come in this bar of soap, which is what you will receive in the package, the fragrance oil used in that is called Peony. Now, Peony in the bottle, and I only bought Peony because I have a friend who says she loves the smell of peonies, so I bought this fragrance oil. And this smells like, So this smells like if you were to take roses or flowers and make them into an animal and make that animal pee all over your carpet in the same spot for several years so that the fragrance coming up from that reeked, absolutely reeked of flowers. That's what this smells like. It reeks of flowers. If you like really, really strong flowery scents, you want people to think that you took a bath in flowers, this is the fragrance for you. Now, I've used that fragrance multiple number of times, and I've discovered that I really have to use it sparingly. So it's a very, very, very strong fragrance, as noted by that. Now, this still smells like peonies. This smells like flowers. It doesn't have any undertone of vanilla. This smells like flowers, like honest to goodness flowers. So if you've ever smelled roses, and not these new roses that they've come out with, peach drift rose and all that other stuff which smells like peaches or whatever. No. This smells like traditional flowers. Okay, so I'm not a fan of the smell of traditional flowers. And that's what this smells like, traditional flowers. Now, traditional flowers are for some people. Some people really like flowery scents. I will say that the design that's on this is a flower, so it shouldn't be all that big of a surprise that it smells like flowers. But this definitely still smells like flowers. Now, in order to control the scent in this, because I have made batches of soap with peony in the past, and when I made those batches of soap with peony, I had to rebatch them because I couldn't stand the scent, and it didn't matter to me whether or not my customer really liked the smell of flowers. I couldn't possibly provide anybody with a soap that smelled like that. So, I quite literally only used 3 milliliters of the fragrance oil peony in this entire batch of soap, and there's 1.5 pounds of soap in here, which means that, and it still smells very much like flowers. So if you wash with this, it's going to smell like flowers. It is not going to be overpowering on your skin, however. So, flowery fragrance, but it isn't going to be overpowering, and a traditional flowery fragrance. This is not a flowery fragrance with vanilla undertones or spice or anything like this. This is flowers. Now, this is kind of sad because I actually ran across a fragrance oil. I purchased a fragrance oil several years back. Sorry, hold on a moment. Okay, this fragrance oil. And this is Rosewater Lemonade. Now, I do not like the smell of roses. There was a song that came out when I was in high school where they said roses really smell like boo boo boo. And I was like, yeah, because I hate the smell of heavy flowers or roses. I'm not a fan, not at all. And so I purchased this fragrance oil in a pack of other lemon scented oils from Wholesale Supplies Plus. And this was 2 years ago, and this was hitting its shelf life. So when I was looking for a flowery fragrance for February, I decided, and this still had the tape on it. Like, it still had the tape around it because I'd never even bothered to take the tape off. I mean, why would I? I used up all the other ones. I've repurchased all the other ones. I hadn't touched this one. I didn't even touch it. I didn't even open it. I didn't smell it. Nothing. I was like, it's got roses in it. I don't care. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Well, I opened it up when I was doing these soaps, and let me tell you what. I opened it up and I smelled it, and I was like, wow, that's not bad. So, this fragrance oil in the bottle, it is of course relatively strong, but when I say, wow, it doesn't smell bad, I mean, it does not smell bad. Okay, when I put this in the soap and the soap heats up, my entire soap studio smelled magnificent. I mean, it smelled magnificent in the soap. And so, by accident, I used this fragrance oil and this soap instead of the February soap. And it's so sad. I'm not sure how sad it is because this fragrance oil and this soap definitely has a little bit of a flower undertone. A little bit of a flower undertone. Sort of like the sandalwood and patchouli in the bottle has a little bit of flower undertone, but it loses that flower undertone when it goes through the saponification. Okay, this has definitely still got a little bit of a flower undertone. But what it mostly smells like is pink lemonade. And I'm a really big fan of pink lemonade. So what it mostly smells like to me is pink lemonade with a little bit of flower, like at the very bottom. But this smells magnificent. I love this fragrance. So it's hilarious because I've had this fragrance for 2 years. Never even opened the bottle. And I'm buying more of it because I'm going to be stocking this as my flowery fragrance in my shop because it's the only flowery fragrance I've ever run across that I don't absolutely detest. So there it is. So for those of you out there who are like me who can't stand flowery fragrances, but you're looking for something to stock in your shop that is somewhat flowery, I recommend you try Rosewater Lemonade from Wholesale Supplies Plus. It is fragrance oil 738, which you can type into the browser and it will pull it right up. It's a magnificent fragrance, and my whole soap studio smelled magnificent while the soap was so pugnifying. I mean, it smelled magnificent in there. Anyways, so that's the end of this video. I will be doing a third video that will concern some of my other fragrances from my shop that you see in my shop. Thank you very much for watching. And if you didn't watch the video before this where I discuss fragrance oils with you, I do apologize. It's just that this video is getting very long even now. And so I'm going to sign off, let you go for now. And thank you very much for tuning in and spending your time with me while I figure this all out and talk to you a little bit about my business. And have a great evening.